Hi, folks. You are watching and listening to Sipping Off the Cuff on Tequila Aficionado Media on all of our channels and networks. Happy New Year!
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year! I'm Mike Morales here in Southern California. That guy out there is...
Eric Zandona in Crestview, Florida.
Wow, Crestview, where there is a crest and a view. Oh, my
They
God.
call it the hub city because it's in between a bunch of other places.
Oh, okay. So you're a whistle stop. That we used to call it a whistle stop. But anyway, so Eric and I, for our first tasting in 2022, we have some interesting tequila and an interesting brand owner. Okay, first of all, let me show you this. It's Querido Tequila. All right. Now these, what's unusual about this is that this is an infused. Flavored tequila. It is infused, and I believe it's natural flavors. And we'll get more into the ins and outs and all the particulars. But these are becoming very popular. We're seeing more and more of these coming across to as kind of a gateway, Eric. You know, to for the new crop of young drinkers who want a cocktail in a bottle. You know, they don't want to pay a whole lot. They don't want to learn mixology, but they want to have something that either is mixable or drinkable right out of the bottle.
Right.
So this one's unusual because it's tamarind, and it's not a fruit that is well known, except maybe in Florida and California, somewhat, but primarily in Mexico. Tamarind is a big deal in Mexico, right? I mean, isn't that the same in Oaxaca? Yeah, I know you spent time there, so.
Yeah, I don't know that I saw a lot of tamarind drinks in Oaxaca. So, growing up in California, they were everywhere in every taqueria that you would go to.
Yeah, but more as a fruit and a side, like a side dish as opposed to a cocktail. I mean, now, you can make a cocktail out of a tennis shoe. They call it the Nike, the swoosh. So anyway, we're gonna break the seal. We just broke the seal off camera. We're gonna pour some in our glass and just gonna see what it tastes like. So I'm gonna use my Stasso Jarrito for tequila. This is an 80 proof. It's got in the bottle, it's got kind of a tinge to it, but I'm not sure if that's just the bottle. My understanding is the bottle is recycled glass.
Yeah.
So we'll go there. Wow, that's deep.
Yeah. So right off the bat, there's definitely a fairly light aroma to it. It's definitely has that tamarind quality, but it's interesting because it also has a little bit of a character that reminds me of watermelon, which we'll be getting to later.
Yeah, it does, but like a watermelon rind almost.
Yeah. There's like a green kind of watermelon rind character there.
Yeah, like when you bite into the watermelon, it's not quite ripe yet, or you've eaten all the red part and what's left is just green.
Yeah.
That's what this is like.
Yeah.
At least the aroma. It's very prominent. I mean, that's all I'm getting.
Yeah.
There's that tamarind sweetness at the top, and then there's that green tamarind at the bottom.
Right.
Wow. Yeah. That's some really interesting layers.
Yeah. So it's not there's not really any tequila character coming through on the nose.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to know like how exactly they're flavoring this, whether it's with like through distillation or through some other way.
Full disclosure, I actually had, before you folks may have already seen that interview, maybe not. I did an interview with Emilio Romo, who is he and his brother are the brand owners of Querido. And what makes them so interesting is if you go to the Querido website, we didn't get any info from the PR company that sent this to us, but the website is full of information. They are 7th generation distillers of the Herradura family.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll go into more of that history, and I do a little bit more of that with Emilio and his interview at Open Bar. But anyway, he told me that they went through several iterations before they got it right. Because what he told me was that within the family compound before Brown-Forman bought the brand, and they did not buy the hacienda or the property. That belongs to the family, thank goodness, because I thought all of that I thought was lost to Brown-Forman, but it's not. So they still own it. It's still part of the family heritage. They said that within that compound, they had his father and I think his grandfather possibly had a warehouse full of tequila that never made it to the market. And among that tequila was some that was infused with fruit. So the family is known for innovation.
Yeah.
You know, they were the first ones to invent the reposado, aged in black Jack Daniel's barrels. They invented it. And they also invented Blanco Suave, which they were the first brand to actually have a Blanco aged for a few days in a barrel and pulled out just to round out the edges.
Yeah.
So it's interesting in that conversation. Hopefully you folks can see it and watch it or will view it soon. He was very excited about the innovative, taking part of that innovation. And so I imagine that they're doing this the right way. I will also explain a little bit more about the processing of the agave. But you're right. These are secondary bottles. Eric and I just received these like not too long ago. We had an initial set, but they were an old version of the logo and the label. So, what do you think? Do you think we should just dive into it and taste it?
Yeah, let's take a sip and see how it tastes on the.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, so it's got a lot of sweetness on the palate. Don't really get watermelon, I would say, like on the aroma. I don't know. It's been a while since I've had a tamarind flavored drink, so it's hard to put my finger on it. It's definitely got this like fruity character to it. That's a little bit hard for me to describe because again, tamarind's kind of a very unique kind of thing to Mexico, and I don't know if it goes down into Central America too, but
probably.
So there's definitely it's got an interesting flavor to it, and I could definitely see how you could use this in like a margarita rather than adding some other like juice or liqueur or whatever. It would give you like an added like kind of flavor character, but there's on the palate there's really no agave character. So like telling me that it's made with Blanco tequila, it doesn't really like it. That part doesn't come through.
It's rare that Eric and I or any of us get a chance to discuss a brand that we have tasted with the brand owner and find out from that person why he chose the flavor profile that he chose, why the direction that he seems to be going, or he or she.
Yeah.
On my first pass, and I'll again just just to be upfront, I have not had any coffee. I've only brushed my teeth. All right, I pretty much have a clean palate, but it's going to take me a couple of passes to go through. For me, it's almost the beginning of my day, right? Something like 1 o'clock. It's Eric's end of his day, right? So, I get spiciness. I get it coats the palate probably like it's supposed to. Tamarind is not a fruit that I am familiar with. although since I've been in California, I've been familiar with more fruit that I haven't been exposed to, persimmons and things
Right.
that grow in people's backyards. I mean, in this, just in my neighborhood, we have limes and lemons and people growing mangoes in their yard. I mean, so I know that and it's all organic. Nobody's spraying these down, or and they're not being commercially harvested.
Mm-hmm.
But a tamarind is not, even though the trees will grow here. I don't know anybody who's got one, so I don't know. I can't I can't place it. It's kind of it's like it tastes like a crossbreed of a fruit of some sort, like a plum and a mango or something. Mangoes I've had too. Now, and mangoes are big in California.
Yeah.
Mangoes and one other fruit, papayas, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
There's a sweetness on the nose too, and as this opens up, but yeah, there's no agave flavor. Now, here's more transparency. Let me give you some of the story. All right, some of the ins and outs. Here we go. All right, you ready for this?
Yep.
For those of you in search of new flavors, for those who seek new horizons, for those who desire a new perspective, an escape from the ordinary. That's what it says on the back. A traditional tequila with the sweet and sour taste of tamarind. Be a part of the movement. Be a part of Querido. For every bottle that you buy, they will plant a tree. That is something that I've noticed many tequileros like to do. If you notice on their website, they have a big tree that they post. It's kind of like the central figure of the family.
Mm-hmm.
For anybody who's been to Herradura, if you've been to the old distillery, San Jose del Refugio is the name of the compound, the hacienda. In the middle of that courtyard is one of the oldest trees in Mexico, and it's huge. All right, and it's been there forever. Planted, I think, by one of their ancestors. I mean, the Romo family is pretty big on their history, and I'm kind of glad that they didn't sell that to Brown-Forman as well. I mean, like for instance, Sauza, that one they sold that lock, stock, and barrel. So, this is coming from distillery 1605, and we know that distillery has a diffuser. Okay. And I asked him, the name of the distillery is Inulina y Miel de Agave. Okay? Inulin, the only way you can get it, that's the Spanish version of inulin. The only way you can make it is with a diffuser. Okay? However, they are saying that they are using no less than 5-year-old plants to make this tequila, agave, and they are only using the diffuser as a shredder. They are not using acid hydrolysis. Mm-hmm. It is the same technique that I have heard that they use making Huasache. Huasache tequila, when it first came on the market, was actually made by the two Romo sisters when they sold Herradura. It was almost like immediate, like within a year and a half. And when it came on the market, it was really cheap. And it was good. We didn't know anything about what a diffuser did. And they were making it with a diffuser then. But they claim, like they claim with Herradura, even now, that they're only using they're only using it as a shredder. They are not acid hydrolysis. El Jimador, on the other hand, is complete, that's how they're cranking that baby out.
Yeah.
What would you say is missing with this tequila? I mean, the agave flavors?
Yeah, the tequila flavor. So, again, I guess the question for me is how are they getting the flavor in there? So it would, if it also is really sweet, which to me means that they're adding sugar, in some form. So my guess is that it's probably just some sort of flavor compound. based on just how it's made. If they had said, oh, well, we're doing a third distillation with the tamarind, fruit, and then we're, adding some sweetness, and like, I could see why maybe it's has so little agave character. If they're doing that sort of like in the way like Pachuga, right? Is the on the third distillation, so the agave character is less intense. It's more about the flavors that you're adding. So I could see it maybe being that, but my guess is it's just however they're making it, whether it's using like a column still or a pot with a few plates on it, they're just distilling it like pretty neutral, and then they're adding the flavor to it. I mean, it's got a nice like mouthfeel to it, and partly that's the sugar. The alcohol is not hot. The flavor is nice. Like I said, if I had this flavor in somebody gave me a tamarind margarita, I'd say sure, all right, yeah, that kind of the fruity cocktail. But on its own, to me, it's not very interesting. It kind of lacks the character of tequila, and so to me, it's a little bit, I don't doubt that there's a use for it, but for things like this, if they had not said that it was made with Blanco tequila, if it was just tamarind flavored spirit or tamarind flavored liqueur, I think I'd be a little bit more open to it, just because putting tequila on the label, to me, has some sort of expectation that the flavor should be there. Not too dissimilar to how, like, a while back, we had that coffee flavored tequila.
Oh, yeah.
In Contador, right? And that, definitely coffee, but there was tequila there as well, right?
Yes.
So there's a way to balance that.
Yeah, and now the other thing too, you know what, Eric? I was thinking this. I'm on their website while you're speaking, and it says, with bold and distinctively unique flavors like mango, spicy watermelon, and tamarind, Querido combines a juicy array of exotic tastes with the classic undertone of 100% blue agave. The thing with the coffee flavored Encantadora, which I still have, I enjoy that. That is probably one of the best coffee tequilas. Yeah. Well, it's a liqueur, because I think what happened is, if this had come in at a lower ABV, we might have been able to get a little bit more of that undertone of agave, because it's an 80 proof. Now, when I spoke to Emilio, he said that what he was looking for, he and his brother, is they were looking for natural pairings with Blanco tequila. And I think that's why they mentioned Blanco tequila, because that was this is the natural fruit pairing that they would do as they were growing up. And their parents were doing. They would have the tamarind on the side, probably with a little, maybe a little salt, I don't know, and a Blanco. And
that's totally common throughout Mexico, right? We've had the bacaneras, right, that were flavored with the uva llama.
Oh, right? Yeah, exactly.
There is this long tradition, right, of macerating fruit in agave spirits as a flavor enhancer, right? You layering flavors on there. To me, that would have been more interesting, right? If they had just taken tamarind and macerated it in a high quality Blanco tequila, like probably they grew up drinking, that to me would be more interesting than a, maybe highly rectified tequila with tamarind flavor and sugar, so that you don't really taste the agave. So to me, that, I think, I get the tradition they're pointing to, but it would have been nice if they actually would have used probably the more traditional production method to make that.
Well, I will. I also, and I know we've gone a little too long, but this is interesting because I think it deserves this conversation.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, Rick and I had a 100% blue agave spirit that was manufactured in I want to say Puerto Vallarta, and I could be wrong, but it's outside the denomination of origin. But these people were famous because Onilicon is the name of the company,
right?
And they have their own like shop where they sell their own a blue agave spirit. All of it's made of blue agave spirit, but they have one of those German stills, you know, and you can go on their website and find it. And I think we had all kinds of information. They had one of those really interesting, the copper still, and they had a mango infused blue agave spirit that was to die for. It was the best one I'd ever had. And they made a blue agave gin. Oh my God. And maybe it was the distillation process that, you know, and those came in at 80 proof. They were not lower ABVs.
Right.
So you're right. Maybe if they had chosen another format, another distillation format, or at least in this case, I think they would get more a blue agave flavor if they had brought it down to 38. You know, maybe. I don't know.
But I agree. Like, I think tamarind and like tequila, like a Blanco flavor profile would be really nice together. That would be good. But to me, this is not it. Like, this is just flavor.
Yeah. I'm not, I was hoping for more, and that's okay. That's all right, because it doesn't mean that the other two are going to be bad.
We'll see.
We'll see. Again, we have a minimal experience with tamarind. What I am getting, what I will say that I'm getting, is I'm getting an undertone of something that almost is slightly chemical for me. I don't know if you're getting that on the palate.
Yeah.
It's an undertone of something that bitterness of
perfumey. Like kind of perfumey floral character.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe let's just leave it at that.
Yeah.
Let's continue to experience the rest of the line and see if there's a natural progression or if it gets better. Maybe this is an acquired taste. I don't know. If you folks have had this, Querido, it should be on the market now. These folks are planning some wide distribution. I know you're going to see it in Las Vegas. If you haven't already. It's a tequila that has pedigree, so I'm willing to give it a benefit of the doubt. But this one, I'm not a big fan of.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, that's our take on Querido Tamarind, but stick it out. We're going to stick it out. We're going to show you the rest of the line. Eric is going to walk me through the rest of this line. I may need to be carried across the finish line after this. But you've been listening and watching Sipping Off the Cuff on Tequila Aficionado Media on all of our channels and networks. If you're watching us on well, not Instagram, not yet anyway, but on YouTube, subscribe, hit the notification bell, give us a like if you like this video. If you like, you know what, if you've had this, leave us a comment. Tell us what you're using it for. You can follow Eric on his Instagram, follow me on my personal Instagram as well, follow TA on Instagram. But whatever you do, tomar sabiamente.
Live wisely.